My name is Aubrey. I'm kind of doing this as a bit of a therapy experiment. I mostly just wanted to talk about the toxic friendship and relationship I just got out of, and what's been going on for me in the time since then. I was part of a group of friends. There were six of us, and we spent nearly every day together. Things have been a little rough recently for me. This past month since the breakup has just been awful. My depression has returned in full force, and the meds don't seem to be helping anymore. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just took a shower today for the first time in several days, and I feel better. I have felt miserable. I'm pretty much stuck in my own head and not really sure what to do with myself. So I'm recording this kind of as like I guess a chronicle as to what's going on. I've got therapy in about an hour, so don't worry. At least I'm getting mental health help, so don't worry about that. Besides that, I just wanted to kind of talk about what's happened. So I was part of a group of six friends who I loved very dearly. They were like another family to me, and we were very, very close. We played all the time. Oftentimes unhealthy amounts of games together. And yeah, we also did D&D, and I think D&D is what killed my friend group actually, but it wasn't just D&D. I guess that'll make a good clickbait title for this actually if I actually end up posting this. But I have had a history of toxic friendships, and I think part of it has to do with me. I think I might be part of the problem. I'm not really sure how yet, but I know I can. I lie uh, too often. Just white lies, like the ones that your parents tell you of, that squirrel's not dead, it's just asleep. Things like that, but it's extended to, oh, did you fill out this paperwork? It's like, yeah, no, I didn't fill out the paperwork. I didn't have to fill out the paperwork. It was for whatever reason, Did you finish this character thing? It's like, oh, yes, I did finish it. No, I haven't finished it. I have an executive functioning disorder. I haven't finished it. It's at half finished. It's there. It's available. Um, but it's not done. I think that's causing problems in my life. I don't really know how to stop it. I start things and I can't finish them, I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is completely unrelated to the topic at hand, I feel. Point being, this group of friends was just it was my life, and we were what I thought was everything to each other. We all met actually through Minecraft, a mutual of all of ours who we don't really talk to anymore for also manipulative reasons. She was kind of the bind that started our group and brought us all into a Minecraft Geopol server together. I had met her through a Minecraft Geopol server. Never play on a Minecraft Geopol server. If anybody is considering doing that, please don't. That is a terrible, terrible thing to do for your mental health. Um, and essentially, in early 2023, we all got brought into the same server together, and it was a good time for about a month until things got heated, and there was drama and drama and drama and drama and drama, drama, drama. It was all drama. That's all it is. It's just drama. And people being toxic and people wanting to roleplay as Nazis, and we just wanted to have I just wanted to be my silly little dryad colony out on a warped forest biome on a mushroom island somewhere in the ocean. It was great fun. I had like little fish friends, and I say fish friends. I made friends with a neighboring nation that was all fish people. And that was great. But I even became a dev for the server, which is actually how things got started. I started making plugins for this server, and I met someone who I got very close with, and I will call them Toxic Individual 1. Toxic Individual 1 was a manipulator. he was very good at it and got me over the course of like a couple of months to give him over $500 through PayPal and Valorant points and Minecraft plugin paid purchases for the server, things like that. And he would beg and plead and with the promise of attention, basically. It was not great behavior. I'll admit I was kind of lulled into a sense of, I guess, care and affection through this. And I don't know, I feel like I was manipulated. Um, Now that I look at it from this position. But all that said, that was what started this, was we decided to play D&D. And that was what kickstarted everything. Toxic Individual 1 wanted to run a campaign, so he had his boyfriend. By the way, yeah, he had a boyfriend. I was very into Toxic Individual 1. I haven't said this, but like rose tinted glasses hid all of this. Big crush on him. And so Toxic Individual 1 invited his boyfriend, myself, Toxic Individual 2, and Toxic Individual two's partner, who the five of us all played D&D together. And it was like 7 sessions total. It didn't last very long because Toxic Individual 1 manipulated Toxic Individual two's partner into getting with him behind Toxic Individual two's back. And I feel so bad for Toxic Individual 2 for this one. It was fucked up. It was really messed up. And basically, after like a lot of conversations and apologies and everything, everyone was fine with what was going on. But that D&D campaign ended, and instead a new one took its place, run by Toxic Individual 2. And this one was like a Feywild. It was basically the Witchlight Carnival, but like homebrewed a little bit to add their own thing. It was fun. Like I had a good time with it. And that lasted for about a month-ish, month and a half, until Toxic Individual 2's partner cheated again with Toxic Individual 1. And it was at that point that I had kind of come to a sense that maybe Toxic Individual 1 is a little bit toxic and a little bit manipulative and is just there to enter my community, which I had run a much larger Discord server at the time, just to get with all my friends. That's what it really felt like, because everyone else was doing like e-sex and shit with this one British fucking twink with a boyfriend who had a very open relationship. And like he ended up causing a breakup between my best friend, who I still talk to now. She wasn't part of even any of this friend group. She kind of like side connection to it, but that's beside the point. She ended up breaking up her and her girlfriend because of this, with cheating at dick pics and sexting and everything. It was wild. And so this final cheating, because Toxic Individual 2 and his partner are married, right? They're married, like actual real life married. That's kind of crazy. That was literally an affair. This is what would get you hung by the church in like the 1700s. Like this shit, it was a whole thing. Toxic Individual 1 was a scourge upon the group. And it was at that point that they got removed. And the server, the Discord server that this was all happening in, somewhat publicly, died. It died from this, like overnight. And I felt awful about it because I felt like it was my fault. I perpetuated keeping Toxic Individual 1 around because I liked them and I cared about them. I mean, they'd play Valorant with me and to keep me company and play Minecraft and tell me how special I was and flirt, and I felt special for the first time ever. It was the first time a man had shown me attention in that way, and it felt great. And I couldn't let it go, but it was this incident that showed me the truth of what was going on. And I'm grateful it did, but too little too late. After that point, we started D&D again. Um, oh, it wasn't even the Witchlight campaign at that point. It was the Fandelver campaign. We were just running Lost Mines of Fandelver. And Toxin Jewel 2, ironically, was using Pint as a, like, the Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft YouTuber. I don't know. I think they stream. I don't know. As, like, a character in the game at the time. I didn't know who they were at the time. It was kind of funny now that I think about that. I forgot about that. Anyway, a couple months later, that's when Witchlight started up, and I wasn't initially part of it because I had been soured about D&D for the most part. I had also attempted to join my brother's campaign group, who were fun, but I had a real conflict with one of the players, and I could not get along with them. They were just very loud and argumentative and contrarian to everything. And we're always like, duh, why didn't you do this? Duh, why don't you do that? And I felt like I couldn't really cope with that. So I quit. And I feel bad because I love my brother. He is one of the best people I've ever met, and has been extremely supportive of me. But I couldn't do it. And so after the party got TPK'd, because we didn't know how to work together, there was no chemistry involved. I mostly killed the party, actually. I turned them all into birds to fight dragons, and then I got hit, and then we all fell from the sky. So that was a thing. But, we can ignore that part. That it was mostly me that caused the TPK. But that's a story for another day. With once we had started Witchlight, things kind of got... Witchlight, that campaign became a whole... It was a fun time, right? Like I said, I wasn't in there initially. I missed the entire carnival section. I only joined once they entered the Feywilds. I had my little character, and I wanted to play a fairy. I wanted to play a little happy little fairy who was just a little cleric, life domain, very simple, very basic. But I was looking for that. The party didn't have a healer, so I was willing to come in and play a healer, especially as cleric, because Spirit Guardians is awesome and I love it. I actually really love playing clerics in D&D. I find it really fun. But that said, I felt like I was forced that my character would have to be a changeling, specifically because changelings were evil, and they wanted me to have like a moral dilemma. I was like, right, all I had asked for was, because I was coming in at level 3 or 4 or so, I just wanted glamour armor as my magic item of request. And so instead the DM was like, hey, what if you were a changeling and your clothes changed with you? And I was like, you know what, whatever, fine. I don't want this because I know the implications that this is going to create in your world. I know the world building and custom lore that they've done to an extent. I didn't know all of it, of course, and I knew that this would cause problems. But whatever, I took it. That's on me. And eventually it came to be a problem. And they kept putting moral dilemmas of like, do you show off? Do you not? And then and then eventually the party figured out that I was a changeling after like most of the way through the first section. I think it was Hither was the first one. And in that, towards the end of that section, they figured out, oh, she's a changeling. And at one point I was threatened to be exposed. It was a whole thing. Again, a story for another time. But somehow that entire thing led to an argument of the DM saying that I was creatively stifling them because I didn't want to participate in something that I never even agreed to properly in the first place. Or I never wanted? No, I agreed to it. I guess I just never wanted it in the first place. It was stupid. It was all stupid and petty. And that led to the sessions being canceled for a while. Like 3 or 4 weeks. And then when we started back up again, it was just tense for a few days. I don't know. But in the meantime, right, after that whole thing got solved in like 24 hours. Everything was fine. But it canceled sessions for a while because, oh, we don't want to cause any more issues. It's like, all right, well, whatever. And so in that meantime, we're all playing other games, right? Starting because this is like mid 2024, right? That I'm talking middle of last year. And the whole affair thing happened early in 2024. So at this point, we're as a group, people are all into Warframe, except for me, because I struggle to start new games without having some desire to want to play them. And so the entire group is into Warframe, and that's most of what we do. D&D is just like a side thing. It's something we do on Sundays. And at one point, one of the other members of the group, who until very recently I never had any issues with, decides she also wants to DM a campaign, but she wants to do Pathfinder, which is fine. Pathfinder was great. And so we start a Pathfinder campaign alongside our other one. It takes the same time slot, we just swap week to week. Okay, that's fine. I also had a desire to run a campaign. I had a Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom themed campaign I really wanted to run, but I couldn't get it finished because I don't know if I have ADHD or something, but I just can't finish anything for the life of me. So that always got frustrating because that always got shoved to the back because everything else took priority. Eventually, we get, like, throughout this entire time, now there's yet more drama. Every now and then someone says something and it just causes a shitstorm. And every time, Toxic Individual 2 is the one that's causing the shitstorm. It gets repetitive. Come January or so of this year, I make it known to my best friend that who's not really involved in this group that I am just kind of done with this. I don't want to deal with this, and if it happens again, I'm just done. And then in April, it happened again. There was some drama that I said something that pissed off Toxic Individual 2, and suddenly I'm the villain. And it took like a group chat called literally group therapy in order to figure out what was going on and figure out what we were going to do. And we decided live and let live, apologize, whatever, and move on. Same thing we'd always been deciding. And I was like, fine, whatever. We'll do that. And then come September, or not even September, come late August, same shit happens again. And this time I say, fuck it, I'm done. Right? I am done with whatever is going on. I can't deal with the drama anymore. It was constant, and I just got tired of it. And so what made it worse is that in this, from like early June to when everything went down this most recent time, I started dating the other person in our group who wasn't already part of a pair. We started hooking up and getting together, and it was great. It was fun for a month and a half, right? And then she just got cold and distant for a while, and I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Wasn't really sure what to do about it, but it was, I don't know, I mostly just felt betrayed. This whole time, I just felt betrayed, because when everything started in late August, she stuck with me throughout it, and I was very appreciative of it, and was like, yeah, no, you're not in the wrong. Toxic Individual 2 is being toxic. And I'm like, great, finally, someone understands. Well, I already knew other people would understand, but finally someone in the group understands. But then she started talking with another member of the group, and they kind of, that other member sided with Toxic Individual 2 every time. Almost every time, except for group therapy time. That one was different. But she sided with Toxic Individual 2 very often. And so my ex decided that, oh, actually Toxic Individual 2 is not in the wrong, and Aubrey just has to apologize. Which I'd like to say is what that other person had kept saying to me. I don't have anything to apologize for. Like, I didn't even do anything, and yet I'm the one that's being, like, forced to bow down and prostrate myself at the throne of the king for the 18,000th time. I can't do that anymore. I didn't even do anything. I don't even remember how this all started. Nothing even caused it. They just overreacted to something I said and just ran with it. But like after a while, right? I refused to apologize for something I never did, and no one no one listened except for like the people I spoke to outside of this group, and they were all like, "Yeah, no, it's kind of fucked up. They've been hearing about everything that's gone on in this group from my perspective, from my ex's perspective, and even from Toxic Individual Two's perspective, and they all thought that Toxic Individual 2 was very toxic. So it's not even like I'm just delusional, because I mean, I might be. Maybe we're all delusional, but like, I don't. It doesn't seem like that is the case. Maybe that's just justifying. But it just. All the source of this drama was D&D. It all came from D&D. While I say that, there was one instance, maybe two, where it wasn't a result of some D&D fiasco, but I'll be honest, it was D&D that was the source of our woes. I think if we had stopped all campaigns, then maybe things would still be the same, but I think it was just bound to come to a head, especially if people were being toxic, right? Like, it was bound to happen eventually. So, I'm glad it did happen, I guess, at this point. I've given enough time to kind of process it, or maybe this is me processing it. I'm not really sure. All I know is that this is an absolute ramble, and if you're listening to this, thank you. I know during this time we all played Final Fantasy XIV, and that became a bit of a sore subject with Toxic Individual 2 at one point, as they couldn't always afford to sub, uh, and so would miss out at times. And, like, that's okay. It's hard to piece this all together while talking into a microphone. I'm not the most eloquent. I'm just kind of. I wrote a few bullet points, and it's not really enough. I'll be honest. This all said, thank you for listening. If you are, I might make another one of these later this week. I just want to put my thoughts down on something, and I can't write for shit, so a journal is kind of out of the question. I mean, I can write, it's very difficult to do so without losing my train of thought, and I find while talking, it's a little bit easier to keep it all going in one go. So my yappinations will remain what I do. Anyway, yeah, thank you for listening.